What's going on, guys? My name is Josh and I am back with another NBA video. Markelle Fultz was the #1 pick in the 2017 NBA draft, and he will be teaming up with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid in Philadelphia playing for the 76ers. Now, for the past couple of months, Lonzo Ball has absolutely dominated the headlines, and at times Markelle Fultz was kind of forgotten about. In this video, I will be talking about 5 things you need to know about the #1 overall pick. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1. Markelle Fultz wasn't highly recruited for most of high school. For many NBA stars, their path to the NBA has been pretty similar. They usually get identified as a star in their preteens, then go to a high school powerhouse and absolutely dominate there, then head to a college, become a one and done, and then head to the NBA. But in Markelle's case, this wasn't the story. Fultz was just one of those kids who wasn't really a star in his preteens. He actually played on the JV team in his sophomore year of high school, and this is actually pretty odd for a guy who is going to be the #1 pick in the draft. But the issue for Fultz wasn't his skill, but instead it was his size. At the end of his junior year of high school, Fultz was only 5'9", and that's why he ended up going to the University of Washington as opposed to other big name schools. They were the first and only school to identify him this early in his career, and luckily the Huskies scouting paid off, as Fultz would grow to be 6'5" by the start of his senior year, and he was emerging into a legit 5-star recruit. By that time, schools like Arizona and Louisville were offering him scholarships, but it was just way too late. Now, Fultz wasn't ranked highly in his class, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But Markelle's story should be pretty motivating for young basketball players who have a dream of playing in the NBA. He showed that hard work and dedication can get you anything. Number 2. Markelle Fultz joined elite company this season. Fultz became the first player in the last 25 years of college basketball to average 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists while still shooting 40% from the field. He averaged 23 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds on the year. He averaged the most points for any Washington player since the 1950s, and keep in mind the Huskies have produced some pretty good NBA stars like Brandon Roy and Isaiah Thomas. Not to mention, Fultz was only a freshman. Number 3. Markelle Fultz was the 7th best high school player in the nation. Fultz was the 7th best player and the 3rd best point guard in the class of 2016. Both Lonzo Ball and De'Aaron Fox were ranked ahead of him as far as point guards go, with Lonzo being the best point guard and De'Aaron Fox being the 2nd best point guard. Fast forward 1 year, and Fultz is the best player in the draft and the #1 overall pick. He is easily one of the most NBA ready prospects in the draft with his 6'5", 200-pound frame, and Fultz just seems like a guy who can come into the NBA and play a game tomorrow. Whereas guys like De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball are more on the skinny side, and they have to build some strength and get a little heavier before the NBA season starts in a couple of months. Number 4. His college team only won 9 games. While Fultz is not entirely responsible for the team's 9-22 record, which actually included a 2-16 mark in Pac-12 games, it's still an inescapable fact. The losses included a home defeat to Yale in Fultz's debut, where he dropped 30 points, as well as a 13-game losing streak to close out the season. Fultz will become the 2nd consecutive #1 pick to not make the NCAA tournament. His new teammate Ben Simmons is the other #1 pick who didn't do that either. Simmons played for LSU, and they didn't make the NCAA tournament nor the NIT. But at the end of the day, a lot of college players don't go to school with the mentality of trying to win. They go to school because they have to and they're forced to. Because in case you didn't know, in order to make it to the NBA, you have to be 1 year removed from high school, and so many of these players declare that they're one and dones before they even play their first college game. If you look at Lonzo Ball, for example, Lonzo made it clear that he was only going to play 1 season with UCLA, and that's exactly what he did. So despite Fultz's pretty terrible record at the University of Washington, it clearly did not affect his draft stock. And number 5. Markelle Fultz has had lingering knee injuries. Quite possibly the only notable issue with the #1 pick, Fultz has had a lingering knee issue that costed him the last 4 games of his freshman season. Now, I don't believe in sports curses, but the Sixers have had some bad luck with their draft picks. 2 of their last 3 top 3 picks have had season-ending injuries before their NBA debut. Former #1 pick Ben Simmons broke his foot before the season even started, and 2014 #3 pick Joel Embiid missed his first 2 seasons with a variety of injuries. I hope and pray that Markelle can stay healthy, because the last thing we want is to see another #1 pick be sidelined with injuries for his entire rookie season. So that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those were 5 things you need to know about Markelle Fultz. Hopefully you guys learned something. That was my goal. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.